Icon 600 is no longer the highest reward in the game. Now what we're going to be getting is 3 new vehicles, as you may have already seen from the videos I've made already. Some people have already got these vehicles. Obviously, I personally do not, but thankfully, Ivory Tower, when I went to visit them last week, I got my hands onto a car. So, the Acura NSX Drift Edition is one of those vehicles that is now in the game. The Hop one, which is the monster truck version of it, which wasn't there before, is now 850. And we have the Chiron Carbon Edition at Icon 1000, which is obviously the one that everybody is going to want to see. But basically, we're going to start off by going through all of these. We're going to start with the Acura NSX, which is the drift version. So the NSX is already available in the game, but available in, I think, only Street Race, or is it Hypercar? One or the other. But essentially, they've now added it to another class and made it an Icon special car, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's better than that of adding it as a car pass thing, like they did with the Skyline. And the Skyline, if you know, one of the car pass options, the season pass options, they gave us the Drift Skyline, which I thought was a bit but this came free in the update, and that's kind of how it should be, and then other cars and vehicles should be added on top of those for the season pass. So that's what I'm grateful for, that it's here. Obviously it handles pretty much like a majority of the other drift cars. You do get a bit more stability in this, I find, but I also find that this event that I played was super crazy stable throughout the whole way. The NSX is a brilliant car for this event. The way it just feels a little bit more all-wheel drive-esque than some of the other drift cars you have. But again, it's just this area is massively open and it looks freaking sick. I haven't tried to tune anything on the car, modify anything on the car. I'm pretty sure you can do some modifications on drift cars. If not, it's just wheels and stuff, which either way, it looks great anyway. It's a wide-body NSX, a modern Acura, sorry. NSX. Acura NSX, which obviously gives you that cheaper Japanese feel compared to some of the other supercars, like, but in the game it feels fantastic. If you're a fan of that, then it's available to play right now. Obviously, I was already actually Icon. I'm already level like 700 or something, so I already get access to this. So again, if you've already reached Icon level in the game, these unlocks will become completely open to you as of right now. If you jump in the game, you can actually play with them. And towards the end of the video, if you want to know how you can level up to the higher Icon levels quicker, I'm going to give you some tips towards the end of the video on how to do that, because everybody's obviously going to want to try and get the Carbon Edition, the Carbon Edition Chiron. But at the same time, there's still people that don't have the LaFerrari and people that are grinding for the LaFerrari. Well, I promise you, it's super easy. It's much easier now than it was pre-update. They've changed a lot of the game throughout the time we've been playing it for the past 6 months now, which is crazy. But in the beginning, there was a few, exploits, glitches and stuff. That's not my cup of tea. I always did the South Strip, which is still a good way to do it. But there's also a new method, which, as I said, I'll talk about a little bit later. So that's my first attempt on this event right here, I believe. Which I didn't do too bad, actually. And you can see in the night sky as well, you'll see in a few of these clips. But the night sky now looks so bright, it almost looks like day, which I kind of like because it makes the game feel a little bit more happy at nighttime, which is kind of the vibe they go for with this game. So anyway, the Hop one is a monster truck Hop one. There's not much else left to say other than that. I don't know if the Hop one was available as a monster truck in the first crew. If it wasn't, then they've built this from scratch. And it's got horns on it. And again, you get a nice view of the city here. I saw the set and I was like, yes, this is great. This is great. The only thing about the night sky that to me that's a little bit strange is the fact that the moon is basically as bright as the sun. But again, as you may have known, in the crew, 2 a.m. is sunrise in the crew. And it has been since launch, and it's the weirdest phenomenon ever. Phenomena ever. But I don't really mind because, again, once again, as a YouTuber, in the daytime, it's much more like interesting. I don't know, there's something about recording in the day which is great, and the night, not so much in games. And so I didn't really mind that it got dark at like 12 p.m. a.m., 12 a.m. and rise again like 2 minutes after, 2 minutes actual gameplay wise after. Anyway, obviously the first place you want to go to with this, I can't really compare the monster truck to any other, except that it feels like a monster truck. The monster trucks are pretty, for a class, they're pretty samey overall. There's not much difference. But again, if you want to show off in the monster truck events, especially when PvP monster truck gets rotated into the PvP, if you know, that's how it works. Every day, I think, it rotates what events on the mixed class on PvP. We'll get some monster truck events, hopefully, and you will be showing off your icon level by having the Hop 1. These are basically what these cars are, all three. They're available as base cars in the game, but the Chiron Carbon Edition is the one that people are going to want to get the most. It's a little bit different in the fact that it's quite easy to tell apart the two, because of you can't paint the other one in a specific way to look like this one. This one is like obviously the biggest change. I say that. The other two cars aren't available in those classes, full stop. This car's available in the same class, which is hypercars, but this one screams statement, big statement. I didn't try and customize it, so I don't know if you can actually change the carbon color, but if so, that would be amazing. Can you imagine just playing around with that? Maybe make it like a gold carbon, because it's more like a blue carbon right now, but the Chiron as an Icon 1000 car makes amazing sense to me. And see, I was the person that was, or a person that was saying that there needs to be more Icon cars in the game because of the fact that I grinded to Icon 600 to try, like, within week 1, I think, or week 2, I got that car. There's a lot of people in this game that like to grind out for those cars too, or just grind out an Icon level in general, and a lot of people, I think there's thousands of people now over Icon level 1000, so a lot of people are going to get to this car before me, but hey, that's just the way it is. I was, to be fair, one of the first to get the 600 on PlayStation 4 anyway, the Icon 600 car, and I made a video on it, and I was super happy how that turned out. But obviously, I wanted to show the Chiron now, because it's the newest version in the game as an Icon car. Now, to generally talk about what I think of them reusing cars as such as Icon cars, as long as they do something special about them, I don't care. Obviously, the LaFerrari is still the best of the bunch because you can only get the LaFerrari if you do the Icons. I would love to see more of those in the future where you can only get them if you get to Icon. But if they did that to the Chiron, I would understand why people would be frustrated if they locked that behind, because the Chiron is a very wanted car. But if they made a car specifically lock it behind, like, Icon level, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 in the future, 5,000 in the future, and it was a new car added to the game that maybe was created by Ivory Tower, I personally don't think I would mind. I think that's the best way to go forward if they want to add more Icon cars in the game that don't necessarily lock you out from driving those cars like they have here. Do the Ivory Towers like the Hop 1, but kind of make a Hop 1 dragster, which would be pretty sweet. But obviously there's a topic around this car that I want to talk about. It's the fact that obviously of the 3 Icon cars available, even though this is 1,000, the Chiron is the one that's available to be customized for free, basically. Not for free, but you can use it without really unlocking it, because the Chiron you can fully customize it to, I believe, from the quick glances I've done, look exactly the same without having to do the grind for it, which again, my personal opinion on this, I don't really mind. Some people may be frustrated with the fact that you can just build a similar car, but again, the paint job style and the surface style is completely different between the two, because the other one is carbon fiber. But again, from a distance you might not be able to tell that as much, but I personally think the difference is granted enough. You get the fully upgraded version available to make if you have the money to do so. Just, it's not going to be fully carbon. It's almost like you get those special builds where if you go to like McLaren or something, you can ask for so many specific details. But yeah, if you want to see the customization video of the Bugatti Chiron, I do have that on my channel, so if you do want to see that, it's probably going to get recommended on the side anyway. But basically, I wanted to show you that you can pretty much make this car, that you don't have to do the grind out for it if you don't want it, but you know, you can still buy it. It's like $1 million or something. But again, if you want the specific one, you're going to have to do the Icon 1000 grind, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, and I'm glad that I'm actually able to do that again, because I miss doing it. The LaFerrari was such a, like, to try and get. It was great. So, obviously, as I promised in the video, I said I would tell you a very quick thing about how to level up Icon levels much quickly. Basically, what you want to be doing is, On previous versions, you would do the South Strip. You can do the South Strip if you want to, keep grinding that. There's obviously debatable other events you can do, but the South Strip is the current fastest event, really, to kind of get those levels up and keep replaying it, holding triangle at the end to restart it. Ignore the parts. You've probably already maxed out your cars if you're going for these icon cars. And what you need to know now is that probably the best way to do it is by PvP, if you can do that. I was doing Demolition Derby yesterday and got so much XP that it's kind of made the whole doing the South Strip a little bit pointless in the matter. And obviously the races are a bit mixed because some are a bit longer than others. It just depends on what you want to do. But if you see Demolition Derby or something kind of like the stunting levels in PvP and you're good at those, jump in those. Otherwise, obviously, carry on as you were with your favorite events. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if it was useful in showing you a little bit about these cars. Be sure to smash like, subscribe if you are new, and it's good to be back on the crew too, grinding once again. Thanks.